Welcome everybody to this week's edition of Valpo Basketball Preview. Along with head coach Bryce Drew, this is Todd Eichow, and today we first will take a look back and we'll look ahead and what continues to be an outstanding season, but finally a loss in conference play. It came last Friday night against Wright State. I think going in, you knew if there's a team that is going to be difficult to play against, game in, game out, it's Wright State. Just the way they play and really how they were playing at that point in time. They won the game. They actually earned the game on Friday. It was an outstanding effort from their standpoint.
No, they played very well. Hit big shots when they needed them, and they obviously put a lot of energy in front of their home fans. And so, for us, it was a good learning process. I think we learned a lot in 36 hours before our next game, and I think our team made some good adjustments coming out and playing a lot better on Sunday.
One thing that when I look back at that game, I thought of, Wright State had played so many close games. Just won an overtime game the previous week against Detroit, and you guys had obviously rolled through not only the first part of the conference season, but even in the non-conference, there were some close games, but not that many. It's got to help to be involved in close games when you get into a tight game. And maybe down the road, you said a learning experience, but to be involved in a close game, maybe that will come back and help you at some time.
Great point. And also, we were playing without, Keith Carter, who'd been our point guard in those close games previous in the year. And so not having him out there the last 10 minutes definitely hurt us. But to get close games, again, that's the best way to prepare to hopefully win them. So hopefully that game will help us be prepared to win a close one later on.
You mentioned Keith, and obviously his performance on Sunday goes down as one of the great performances for the past over the past decade in Valpo history, because here's a guy who didn't practice the day before. It was hobbled. Clearly, it was not anywhere near 100%. And with you guys struggling in the first half, he made big play after big play.
Hit big shots for us. It was the best he'd shot the ball all year for us. I thought he really controlled the tempo, handled the ball well, got people involved. And 30 minutes before the game, we weren't sure he was going to play. So thank God he was healthy enough to go out there and gut it out for a game.
All right, now let's look ahead. And you're sitting in a tie with Wright State, so every game obviously is crucial. The schedule certainly is favorable because, number one, you're at home. And Cleveland State and Youngstown State coming in. This has not been a great season for Cleveland State, but we know they're going to come out, and Gary Waters' team, they're going to play hard.
Belmont, who's playing very well right now, their last loss was to Cleveland State. So we know they have a lot of talent on the team, and when they get it going, they're a very good team. Hopefully our guys will carry over the motivation and the focus we had from Sunday's game into Thursday.
One thing you need to avoid is keeping the focus game after game after game. Maybe a loss sometimes helps. I don't know. Some people believe that when you're winning every game by 20 points, to keep the team focused, a loss in there sometimes doesn't hurt you. But from your standpoint, it's not easy to keep the team focused game after game after game. How do you do it?
Well, I think they're motivated. They're self-motivated, and they want to be successful. They want to win. And so one of their goals is, they want to perform well every game, especially at home. And so I think the guys will be fired up, and they all know how hard and how good Cleveland State is, and so they'll be ready to go.
From a big picture standpoint, and you see the prognostications. I don't know how much you look at them, but I'm sure the players look at them, and they say, well, if Valpo doesn't win the league championship, they're on the bubble to make the tournament. Thus, every game is crucial, and the players probably know this, right?
Sure, social media, they read all that stuff. If we put that much pressure on ourselves, then we won't perform well. And so, we want to try to focus on getting better as a team, so we're ready for that conference tournament at the end of the year. And what our record is going in, that's what our record is. But hopefully we'll be playing our best basketball, at that time.
Nice stretch. A handful of home games coming up. The only road game is in Chicago. You'll be able to spend a little more time maybe with the family like everybody else, and kind of a good stretch, and hopefully pick up a handful of victories in the weeks to come.
I reminded people before, we played 12 Division I road games right now, and only 7 at home. And in Division I basketball, that's almost unheard of if you want to have a winning record or feel good about your record. And so very pleased with all these road games for us to be where we are.
Excellent position at 7-1. Good luck this week.
Thanks, Todd.
For head coach Bryce Drew, this is Todd Eichow. Thanks for joining us this week on Valpo Basketball Preview.